I think that the role that I'm currently playing on Scandal is very challenging. It's just the scariest.
The scariest?
Yeah, because I play someone who's so much older than me. But when I walk in onto set next to Brasputla, and I'm like, I'm his wife. I'm his first wife, and I birthed all of his children. People are like, I don't know about all that.
What up, guys? How you guys doing? You already know what it is. They call me Young. This is the PodHouse, and this is your favorite room. So today I'm switching things up a little bit, right? Because in the comments, well, not really the comments, production inclusive, everyone has been going at my intros. So today I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm not going to introduce my guest. I'm going to be a gentleman, and my guest is going to introduce herself.
Okay.
And then after she does, at the end of the show, I'm going to reintroduce her because why? My house.
Okay.
My house. Pay the bills here. You understand me? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful...
This is Keitu, Kasonkola. It depends what I'm doing. If I'm writing, I'm Mama Chini Kasonkola. If I am producing or, have my business hat on, then I go by my full name, Keitu Mezi Kasonkola. But Keitu's good. Lots of people know me by Keitu. Mm-hmm.
She did better than I thought. That's a lot of pressure.
It is.
I did not think this through. Thank you for being with us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me in your house.
Thank you. Because they don't respect me in this house.
No, man.
I've got people running around here. Ooh, hey.
Don't do that.
Don't
do that.
Hey.
Don't do that.
Yeah, but I'll deal with them. So now looking at before the show, I was looking at all the amazing things that you've done in your career.
Okay.
And I must say it's quite the accomplishment pack.
You know what it is? When you pursue a career in the arts, there's so many unknowns. There's so many uncertainties. And I think, you hear it a lot that a lot of it is luck. Because I think, I could tell you what my journey is, but there are no two artists whose journey are exactly the same.
True.
Sometimes it is a bit of, being in the right place at the right time, knowing the right person. Like, I'll meet someone and we'll have a random exchange, and then years later they'll be like, oh, remember we met wherever, so your name came up and there I have a gig, So it can happen like that. So I think because of that uncertainty, and also, life still needs you to pay bills.
True.
And stuff. You have to, get in there. So I'm going to segue a bit. Last week, I was at AFTA doing a chat or talk on a panel, and the performance students were asking questions afterwards. And one of them was like, just in the conversation, she was talking about how she's not sure if she wants to learn different things because then she fears not being able to master one thing. And for me, I feel like it really just depends what it is that your goal is. Is your goal to be a working artist? Someone who is able to live a life successfully and participate in the economy of the country? Or do you want to ace something? And if you want to ace something, then that might look like going long periods without money. Bobby McFerrin locked himself up in a room for 3 months. He didn't listen to any other music. He just listened to and honed his voice so that he could find it.
Serious?
Yeah. So if you really want to master something, something's gotta give, and that might really be the paycheck. So I think I resigned myself pretty early on in life to the fact that I might not master one thing, but it is important for me to be diverse, because I think I've grown to learn myself as not just an artist, but as daughter of the Most High God.
Come on.
So wherever he leads me, I must be ready to go. And that leads me to be very curious. It leads me to be very open to learning. And the thing that I'm still kind of dealing with, Father, you have to help me here, is being afraid of sucking. Because when you start doing something new, you're gonna suck in the beginning, No one is just born producing off the wall. Even Michael Jackson started at 9. I don't know what his music sounded like when he was 9 in the Jackson 5s. I'm not very familiar with their music.
Oh, he's always been talented, that one.
No, he has been. He really has been. But his debut album, Off the Wall, can't touch. None of his other music, I feel, touches that album. But, you know, from 9 to 21, that's quite a lot of years kind of honing a skill. So I always have to remind myself that even when I journey into other things, I'm just like, okay, we're starting out, you do have a bit of a perfectionist bone, but you're gonna have to just put that down and allow yourself to be teachable.
Let me use that as a segue. Okay, so now I feel like you said it depends what you're doing and you wear different hats, right? Can you just give us a rundown of like the different skills that you have, because there are quite a few to name.
Yeah, there are quite a few to name. I think when I left high school, I really wanted to go to UCT and study drama there. We had this plan of all my friends were going to live in a commune. It was just going to be so TV. It was going to be great, but not all of us went into. not all of us got in, and I actually got my UCT letter, acceptance letter, the second week of my studies at Wits. And I was like, can I deregister? And they're like, no, you missed the deadline to deregister on Friday.
So wait, what happens in such an instance? So were you stuck at Wits because...
Yeah, because you in the first week of studies, you can amend. So you can drop out, you can change, do a different degree, you can switch subjects around. You only have until that Friday. And when that Friday is done, then you're liable for the bill. So it was like, you can deregister by all means, but you're still liable for the bill. Please explain to my dad, who didn't really want me to study drama to begin with, that, by the way, you're going to pay for first year at Wits and also at UCT.
Okay, look, there's been a lot of that going on. Like most of the creatives I've had in this house, first of all, the parents have always been like on the fence when it comes to allowing their kids to venture into the arts.
Okay.
Low key, like after experiencing the arts in a different way, you kind of understand it. Would you say did it switch at any point for you with your parents, or?
No, I wouldn't say that it switched.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it switched. So, in high school, I went to engineering camp because my dad really wanted me to be an engineer. And my marks were really good. I mean, if I had applied myself, I would have been able to do engineering. Although I think if I wasn't an actress, I probably would have been a vet, because I think my heart is more that way inclined.
Those are like so diverse. Like from engineering to vet.
But he wanted me to be an engineer. But then him and his wife decided to get divorced in matric. And I think just that blow... It was too much of a blow for me to be able to really apply myself academically, but still I could have if I wanted to, but I really wanted to do performance. And so the good thing about not going to UCT is I feel like UCT and TUT, they do produce really good quality students.
True.
But they're kind of like honed into like one particular discipline, and you kind of master that thing, whereas at Wits, we got to chop and change quite a bit. That's why I wear so many different hats. I mean, one of my majors was applied drama. So I facilitate, I do industrial theater, I facilitate workshops and processes, theater for interventions, all of those kinds of things. I do that. And that kind of was the foundation for me learning to be an MC, to speak to crowds and all of that kind of stuff. I did do performance for the first 2 years. I did do movement. I used to be able to be teachable to move. I think
I'm used to be teachable.
Yeah, no. It's true what they say. When you don't use it, you lose it. Like at some point, if someone taught me choreography, I could get it.
No, not so much. It's not make sure.
The combos, they're not communicating that well. Like the brain knows what they're doing. I think the shoulders play ball, and the legs are like...
It's always the legs that let you down. It's always the legs that let you down.
Always. So yeah. So I think, but
I am so tempted to make her stand up and
oh
see,
my goodness.
And then we see if she can.
Don't worry.
See, I kept it for the shoulders. Avon, gentlemen, I kept it for the shoulders.
I will say though that my dad's fears were justified, They were not completely unfounded, because being a freelancer is tough. And being a performer is harder because it feels like you're always at the mercy of other people's favor, other people liking you, other people approving of you. I mean, I've walked into spaces and immediately been told, why are you here? And I'm like, how? I'm here to audition like everybody else. Who's your agent? Why'd they send the fat girl? And I'm like,
wow.
Or I'll be told,
still dealing with such though.
Yeah, wow. I haven't had that in a while, but early on I would get that. I would get, you don't sound black enough. Oh, you're too light skinned. Oh, you know, so it's so many things that some of them you can control, some of them you can't control. Yeah. And so I understand where his apprehension had come from, because I think parents always just want to set their kids up and be able to create like a safety net for them. But there's something about the arts that is this unknown wild, wild west for most people. Yeah. And it's just like all most people know is what they read in the newspapers and what they hear on nowadays social media. So what do we really know about the journey of an artist? Not much.
I was about to ask actually, do you think, like, where do you think he got is it like the general fear of like the uncertainty of the field itself, or did he have like background knowledge of some sort?
No, I don't think he had background knowledge. I think he was just afraid of the uncertainty. I mean, he tells that to me all the time. He's like, yo, you know, I always knew that you were something, but I didn't know that you were this brave and this bold, because I couldn't do what you do. I have no idea how you begin a job and know that 6 months from now I'll be starting from scratch again. Like, I just wouldn't be able to do that.
That's actually a wild realization when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, that actually what it is.
Yeah. And to be able to be told no that often. And I think a lot of the time when you hear the no's, you internalize it and it's something wrong about you. But I've grown to learn that it's not necessarily something that's wrong about me. It's just that was not a good fit.
How long would you say did it take you for you to get to that realization? Because I mean, it can hinder your progress, no? If you hear no enough times and it starts messing with your psyche.
Yeah.
Like, how long would you say for you personally it took before you understood that it's part of the path that you want and this is something you have to face?
Look, I think I understand it cognitively. I still have trouble understanding it in here. Because sometimes it is sore. It is a little bit ouchy. I mean, I've been rejected from gigs and been told, oh, but Keitu's not famous enough. Like, she's really good, but she's not famous enough. So actually we need to give her a smaller role and then build her up. And I'm just like, okay, sure, I don't have 1.5 million followers on social media. I get that. But the first time I set foot on a professional set was in 2007. So how about betting on that? How about betting on the fact that you know that if you've got me on set, I'm not going to waste your time. We're going to shoot this thing. I'm going to know my lines. And that saves you money. How about betting on that? Also, guys, bophelo ke oros, ne? Bophelo ke orosi. Why? Because you cannot drink concentrate just like this.
Yeah.
What happened to the Real Madrid team that had Beckham and Zidane and it wasn't a good team. You need to water that stuff down a little bit so that, you know, because that's how we sharpen each other up. You cannot have every single person who has 5 million followers on the same cast. Like, how will you get anything done? You know, I really think that there is room for the smaller roles, and those are important roles, hey? Because the moments are not just carried by the leads. The story is told in between as well. So bet on the people that are a little bit smaller. Bet on the people that are not as well known, because they really color in the story a lot more than the leads do. Because the leads and the A storyline, a lot of it, well, now this is my writer hat coming in.
Come on.
The A storyline, a lot of it is very plot. This happens and this happens and this happens. And then the B and the C, that's where a lot of the emotion kind of gets carried in. So you need people that are going to help carry that. Because yes, as much as we're moving with the story, we also want to feel and empathize with these characters, you know?
So now, okay, based on that now, I have a question that I don't know how to phrase exactly, because like you've touched on something so important. So would you say at some point, was there ever a role that you got and then it was personal for you, where it was like, I need to show them, like, because of everything that you went through.
Definitely the role on Champions, that because I was cast in that in November, and I remember years ago I had a small role on the throne, and unfortunately the timing was such that
she was good in that, by the way. she was good in that.
The timing was such that the director, he really liked me, and he was like, oh, I want to speak to Gwyd and Patu, because they were the head writers on the throne. I want to speak to them about your character growing and developing a little bit further. And I was like, okay, that would be lovely, but I'm not available for the next 3 weeks because I'm working on my stage play, and I'm the lead there, and it's a micro budget, so I actually can't afford to hire anyone else to take over from me. So having to be away for that 3 weeks meant that my character didn't grow, and it didn't go anyway. And I remember him saying, he was like, oh, you know, you need to do something about your public persona, because you'll always just be that chick. And I was like, that chick. Damn. Here I was thinking I did a good job, you know? And then you'll run into people and it's like, oh, there's that chick from that advert. Oh, you're that chick from whatever. And I was like, am I really that chick? And okay, so that was like a little bit of a, and then you shoot pilots, you know? So normally the first episode of something that people want to pitch and grow further, shot so many pilots, those projects did not go anyway. And so, you know, I think for me, I believe that everything is feedback. So I was just like, you know, God, is this feedback? Is this the feedback to say, I want something that doesn't want me? But I also feel like I'm not satisfied. I still have the question, what if? I imagine myself to be a strong actress. I believe myself to be, but I haven't had the opportunity to experience that outside of like really small spaces where there's not much of an audience. Like even with my stage play, that was the first time I'd produced anything, because I won a writing competition, and the lottery fund was like, okay, so the grand prize is staging this thing, and the people who had organized that writing competition, that organization was closing. So they were like, no, our intention was that the winner gets the money, and if they decide to go to Zanzibar, that's their gift for having written this amazing play. And the lotto was like, no, if that's what you're going to do with the money, then we're not awarding it. Like, this money is to stage the play. So they said, we don't have the funds or the capacity to hold your hand to produce. So here's the money, fly, baby. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
So just like that?
Just like that. But I couldn't get the money all at once. It was in tranches. So I'd have to like say, okay, we need money for this and this. We need money for that and that. And because I was learning how to produce on the fly, acting in the stage play, trying to be on the throne, you know, and just marketing slipped my mind. So when there were 9 people in the audience, I was like, oh, damn.
I forgot that part.
Oh, man. We probably should have put out the posters when we started rehearsing.
Oh,
okay.
No.
You learn as you grow and go, you know? So those words have rung in my head. Oh, that chick. Even I remember being on the top 5 for the MTV based VJ search the first year, the year Nomuzi won. It wasn't the first year, but the year Nomuzi won. And Tim was like, oh, you know, you'd be so great, but if we had like a Nickelodeon show, because you'd be great with kids. And I was like, oh, but I'm not here to be with the kids. I'm here to like, you know, do the things. So all the no's have just been echoing in my head over the years. And I'm like, am I the delusional one? Or like, maybe I really can't do this thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm giving myself until the end of 2023. If I don't land something substantial, I might go and look for a job in a call center or something. Because
so that was your breaking point, basically.
That was me. Last year, I was like, I really want to give this my all. And I want to try and experience myself as the actress I know myself to be. From school, from the small projects that I've done, from the way that I show up, even when I have really tiny roles that people forget about. I feel like I'm always showing up. And so I would like the opportunity to show up on a bigger stage. And then I landed Champions. That was the first time I walked into a callback room. And there were so many like famous people. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm at this caliber now. Okay. So step up, girl.
So that was the personal one for you.
Yeah, that was the personal one. That was a personal one. I think also because I'm a mom to a son. And so the issues of boys, the issues of men really sit very heavily on my heart, because I do believe that the issues women have are because of the issues that are not paid attention to that men have. I just, people for me are like children. And I think if you ignore a child long enough, they will have a temper tantrum, because they don't necessarily have the vocabulary to say to you, this hurts, this feels not nice.
So they end up acting out.
And they end up acting out. I'm not saying that's an excuse for people to beat people up. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that you can see it in kids. When a child is frustrated, they'll hit another child. It doesn't make it right. But when one understands that we call this emotion frustration, and it's okay to feel frustrated, but it's not okay to take your frustrations out on the next person. Perhaps that's what's happening with the men, because we haven't given them the space, the freedom, the vocabulary to express their emotions in different ways. My brother said something interesting a few years ago. He was like, for every woman that you see that's missing, there's probably 3 or 4 men that are missing, but everyone just assumes they've gone to have a fun time. And they'll only find out weeks later that this person is dead.
That's deep.
And so, and then my younger sister was like, yeah, so then how can someone care for someone else who they feel doesn't care about them? So I think hurt people. And so when I see the levels of GBV in our society, I wonder what the depths and the level of hurt men are carrying looks like, I mean, even if you take someone like R. Kelly was molested. And that doesn't excuse what he did, but that is a marker of where that behavior comes from. So I think it's those kinds of things. And so because I'm raising a boy, Nkele, the character I play on Champions, she has a son. And they're really close, the way I'm close with my son. And it just, that whole journey, there were points in the story where it was very personal for all of us as the actors, because it was like such a real story and very relatable. And as we'd go through certain moments, I'd be like, okay, so this is what not to do with my own son. Okay, good. Putting that in the memory bank.
Sounds like it came full circle for you in terms of like everything that was going on with you at that time. I think
personally, professionally, it was a very landmark role that I landed. So, and I'm really grateful to Cheza for the opportunity. I'm really grateful to everybody who was with me in the famo, because I really did feel supported. And when you feel supported, you really can show up and do your best.
True.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most challenging? Because I know for you guys, like, okay, TV is one thing.
Yeah.
So this is based on like conversations I've been having with people. So subject to change, right? Do you think there's a big jump between theater and TV in terms of like honing the character that you're playing and the difficult levels that you have to jump in between?
I think film, like movies, for me, movies and theater, I think live in a similar kind of realm of difficulty. And they're all difficult and tricky in their own way, because TV, it moves so quickly, that you kind of had to get to emotion very quickly. And it's also sometimes very technical. Like, I remember being on a set and I started to cry in the scene, and I was told, freeze. And that time the tears like here, and I was like, what do you mean freeze?
I'm already within.
What do you mean freeze? And they move their cameras. I'm just like, I can't look out. I need to stay in this moment. By the time they said action, those tears were gone. The emotion was finished.
How do you switch back? How does it even work?
Oh my gosh. I think in that moment I struggled to save it, because I was just shocked. I was shaken. Like,
is it possible to save it?
It is. Only because, for me anyway, my method of saving it would be returning to the breath. Because last year I spent a lot of time working through Lesak kind of sensics and Lesak modalities, which is a body voice modality.
Oh no! Whoa! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Lesak, where? Is it where?
Lesak kind of sensics. So it's a body voice modality that looks at the holistic and optimal use of your body and voice, right? And so it can be used for therapeutic reasons. It can be used in voice therapy. But the modality was developed in theater by Arthur Lesak. And it was only in his later years that then was like, we should actually document this stuff and it should be available to teach to other people. So because it was developed in theaters, a lot of people use it there in the performance space. But all the world's a stage, you know. You walk into the bank and there's a way to perform for the bank so they can give you that loan. If you're going to be like, yo, man, I just need this money, man. I don't think the manager's going to be like,
you're not going to get it.
I can trust you with $5 million. So there's a performativity.
Production, don't send me to talk to sponsors. I think she's talking to me, eh?
But it all can be taught, you know.
Give us the money now. Give us the money.
You just shift your breathing. You shift things in a particular way on the inside, and then you get what you're looking for performance-wise. So if you think about it, anytime you have an emotion, it really alters the way you breathe. So when you're excited, you breathe differently. When you're sad, you breathe differently. So if you tap into those breathing patterns, it can call in the emotion without necessarily you having to imagine the time when your grandfather died and then re-traumatize yourself, because that can happen with method acting, you know.
I hear it's difficult to jump out of it. Like it's easy, okay, not easy, but you find a pattern and you get used to method acting, but jumping out of the character,
like coming
is something
back
else.
to yourself is tricky. So using the breath, using vocal patterns, you can call in a certain emotion, and then you get out of that by shifting the way you're breathing, shifting your vocal intonation and your vocal patterns, and then you come back to yourself almost. Yeah.
Like what a production. Now, this is how I'm gonna sort you guys out. Once I get my tornado call, I'm gonna sort you all out. Let me just learn. Okay. So now I feel like it's been like an emotional journey for you in terms of like the roles you've been getting attached to your personal life. Which one would you say was your least favorite role? Okay, not least favorite, but like, let me say maybe the most challenging.
I think that the role that I'm currently playing on Scandal is very challenging. It's not my least favorite. It's just the scariest.
The scariest?
Yeah, because I play someone who's so much older than me. And I mean, we can do whatever we want to do, right? But when I walk in onto set next to Brasputla, and I'm like, I'm his wife, I'm his first wife, and I birthed all of his children, people are like, I don't know about all that. So it's also like leveling her up age-wise, like
but
she
I feel like
needs
we
to have
can
the aura of an older woman, but also I think she has a bit of a dark side, and I have a very sunny disposition. I remember one of my former agents saying to me, Keitu, I'd love to see you play an evil villainous role, but I don't think you've got it in you. And I was like, I don't know. I think at that time I didn't have it in me. And now we're about to find out if I do. Because I think there's something a little bit dark about this woman. And I mean, we haven't seen it yet on screens. I haven't seen it yet in the text. But there's something that I can feel is a little bit shadowy.
Do you think you're ready for the tap-in? Like when that moment comes?
I'm ready for the challenge. I'm very keen for the challenge. So she is my most challenging role to play. Yeah, because you know, Scandal's also a really big deal. You know, I think it's also important for me when you get into spaces to show up and meet that opportunity. You level up to it. So I think every character has been a marker of wherever I was at that level. And sometimes they were a level above me, but you gotta punch above your weight to get to that level, you know? So it is really me, I can feel leveling up, but in a different way, in a way that is also hard for me to put into words. I can just feel it, but I don't know how to verbalize it yet.
So we're not gonna lose the creative part of you anytime soon, you know? Since you are so close to your breaking point at some point.
No, you're not gonna lose the creative part of me. I feel very mandated to create work. So I've gone back into writing. I wrote a feature film last year. So we're hoping that it'll get picked up and it'll get funding, because these things take so long. There's a feature film that we shot in 2020 that is still to be released. So,
Oh, it's ready. Like it's done. Or you're going to add some...
We're about done in post. It just needs finishing touches and a deal. That's what it needs. It needs a deal. So I'm back to my foosball days where I'm like, oh snap, the business side of things. You learn as you go. You're like, yeah, of course this, producing needs business skills, of course it does, but what that actually means and the embodiment of that, like you can know something in here, but until it like moves through the rest of your body.
Outsource, find the people who can specialize in those things.
That is a great idea.
Yeah,
thank you
can't do everything on your own.
Thank you. I really
out of all the
that.
hats that you wear, obviously you need maybe start passing out a few hats.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You see, I think my apprehension has always been, when you start passing out hats, the person that receives the hat is like, and how many zeros?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that part.
You see? So
plus production, I need a raise. Life is expensive in this economy. I want raise.
So that's what's tricky. When you're starting out and you're kind of green, you do most things by yourself because of that awareness that I can't, in good conscience, expect you to put time, energy, effort, invest your life into my project. And where's the fair trade?
And you're not sure where it's
what am
going.
I giving you in exchange?
What would you say is your next dream role? Like, what's... Because you seem very, very... Okay, not even seem. You are very ambitious.
Yeah.
So what would you say is that one more thing that you want to achieve just to be like the cherry on top?
There's a role that I always wanted to play. And my mom reminded me of it, I think, last week. And I'll never play that role. And it's fine. I'm saying it now so that I can put it to bed. I will never play the role where I am Jet Li and Jackie Chan's combat partner in a movie. Like, it's just... they're old. When was the last time you saw Jet Li in a movie? Come, let's be serious now.
Wait, whose dream was this, first of all?
It was mine. I wanted to be their combat partner. I want to be in a movie where I'm running down the street like a woman that means business. And then I get to the bad guy and I'm like, ha, ha, ha. But right now, I'm not much of a runner. So, the problems are many. The problems are many. Why are you laughing at my dream?
No, I'm so sorry. But you said write it down. Like I'm seeing all of this happen in my head. All right. wait, whoa. So wait, you giving up on your dream? You can't give up on your dream. We can organize about divisi. We can organize for you to be chased down the street. Let's just see how fast you really are when it's not planned. You'll be surprised how quick you can be. You'll be surprised. Oh, but no, wait. I need a second. I can actually see it in my head, bro. You can't give up on the dream, though. Don't give up on the dream.
You know what I've come to learn?
Oh, wow.
On the 4th of July, I became an adult. I'm 36. I don't qualify as youth anymore.
You're aging amazingly.
Thank you so much.
You're aging gracefully.
And adults just see life differently, And as an adult, I've come to realize that the dreams of my 16-year-old self may not be valid to my 36-year-old self.
I'm struggling to be professional right now.
Look, I can still do the chase scene. That doesn't have to change. But the reality of being Jackie Chan and Jet Li's combat partner, I mean...
I can't believe you're giving up on the dream. Younger you is gonna be so disappointed. You're letting so many people down.
You see, if I can get into a Hollywood something, I think younger me would still be appeased by that.
Okay, so let's say a role comes up and they're like, okay, in this scene, you're gonna slap someone and then you have to run away. Yeah. And this person has to chase you.
Yeah.
You can tap into your dreams.
Yeah.
And take off.
It might be like, not like, right now, I suffered an ankle injury in December. It was my sister's birthday, and we went to this.
How are you
place.
injuring yourself at a birthday?
I know, right? We're at an obstacle course thing, and on the first obstacle,
guys,
I let go of the monkey bars.
Choose your battles.
And it was chai. Literally, I lay on the mat like, and then when the lady came, she was like, "Are you fine?" And I'm like, "I have to be. I just arrived. I just got here. So you better fix me. Fix me. Fix it."
Okay.
I didn't get off that mat successfully, and I was, there's an emergency. It looks like that forklift that they lift in macro, that they take the really big stuff and they move it around. I was put on that thing because I didn't have a wheelchair. That's how I got out of the establishment. So, I also know that currently my athleticism is not where it once was. It needs some work so we can revisit it and revive some dreams.
Guys, I know I said at the end of the interview I was going to do like a reintroduction, but I'm really struggling right now. So, in order for me to keep my job, we're just going to do like a nice cutaway. Keitu, thank you very much for joining us on the pod, bro.
Thank you so much for having me.
Outro, and all of that. Cut.